I was dropped as maid of honor because of my looks.
You're just too hot.
Sophie and I, both 27, have been close friends since we were 4. We are not these speak every single day Laurel Susanna type friends, but I genuinely considered her a sister and her parents like an aunt and uncle. Our families are close. My whole family is invited to her wedding, as is my boyfriend's family. My boyfriend is Sophie's brother's best friend. That is how close we all are. So I was not really surprised when she asked me to be her maid of honor. And I think I have been a good one. And by the way, this comes from user rightnose8825. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we are all here to give good advice goofily, but these goofy little meatballs don't know the answers to every question in the history of humanity.
You just refer to us as meatballs?
We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do.
Are you craving meatballs?
In the comments. OP says, well, 2 weeks ago, Sophie, the other bridesmaids, and I went to try on bridesmaid dresses. I thought we all had a good time and that it was a successful trip as we found dresses, but apparently not really, because a couple of days later, Sophie asked to meet me. She asked that I step down from being maid of honor. She said seeing me in the bridesmaid dress made her realize she just did not want me stealing focus from her.
Called
and
it.
that she would not feel good standing up there knowing everyone was probably comparing us. Boom.
Called it. You're too hot.
You're too hot for the spotlight.
Too hot to be bridesmaid.
You're too hot and I don't like it. Gotta be uglier. Let's put you in a garbage bag. But then everybody will look at you because they'll be like, why is that lady in a garbage bag?
All right, Dion.
Fine.
I'm more of a runaround Sue kind of guy, but
I was so hurt. I admit I cried right there in the coffee shop, partly because I never wanted her to think that anyone would be thinking anything other than that she was the most beautiful bride on her wedding day, and partly because I was just so excited to be up there with her, and she was kicking me out over something that I couldn't even control and was not really even true. So I said fine, it was her wedding. If she didn't want me up there, I wouldn't be. But I was not going to come to the wedding as a guest when clearly my presence was going to be a burden to her. Sophie said that was not what she meant, and I asked her to explain. Well, she doesn't really have to explain. At this point, you should understand there's a difference between being at someone's wedding and being the maid of honor right next to her up on the, altar.
Yes.
It's going to be less of a comparison when you're not in the bridal party. That should be very self-explanatory.
Yeah, I'm like, could we just have kept her in the bridal party? Are we this insecure that we can't have our hot friend up there?
Yeah, that's its own issue, right? Like,
Sort
that's its
that
own
out.
thing. She said she desperately wanted me there, so she was going to put aside her feelings, but she just wanted pictures at the altar to be with her looking the best and to have that moment with everyone looking at her up there. She also wanted me to tell everyone I dropped out because I was too busy. I said none of this felt fair, and I was not going to lie for her. I was a good friend and did nothing wrong, and she was being a brat, but that was her prerogative, and I did not have to play along. I told my boyfriend about this, who was pretty horrified, and agreed that if I did not want to go, I shouldn't, although he still is because he's friends with the groom. But my mom and stepdad think I would be the a-hole if I didn't go. My mom said it has also been obvious that Sophie was insecure, but I never noticed this, and that she can understand where she's coming from. She said I have had the spotlight our whole lives. Again, I don't think this is true. Sophie is far more outgoing and even well-liked than I have ever been. Even though it's pretty sad, maybe she does deserve to be the princess on her wedding day, and I should not hate her for that.
Well, she definitely does deserve to be the princess on her wedding day. That's like the whole thing.
She says I will regret missing the wedding over this. My stepdad says I should go because she's my oldest friend, and even if she is being unfair, sometimes you have to let people be irrational. I really do not know now. Sophie and I have so many mutual friends, there's not a lot of people I can ask about this without it getting back to her, so here I am. I feel like maybe I am being a knucklehead having this blow up, but I do not see why I should even stay friends with someone who would exclude me from her wedding party over something superficial. And clearly, she has been sitting on these feelings forever. Not to mention, I already paid for her whole bachelorette party and the bridesmaid dress, and contributed to the cost of her wedding jewelry. And now I just feel used. So am I being a petty a-hole by refusing to go? A little bit, probably.
Yeah, I think you should still go. I do think that if you're not in the bridal party anymore, you should get a refund for that stuff kind of thing. But, like, is this friendship changing? Yes. Should you pick this spot to, like, throw a tantrum about? Probably not. We should probably just, like, unfortunately back down a little bit.
This is less of like a shot at you and more of just like an
Yeah.
unfortunate, like, hey, I can't help it. You're just way hotter than me.
Yeah.
I don't want you up there because you're hotter than me.
Like,
So-
I'd be really confusedly hurt in, like, I'm hurt that I can't be up there with you, but, like, it's because you think I'm hot?
right. So
But I wouldn't not go. Like, I think I'd still be like, of course, like, hey, listen, like, that really hurts. I'll get my thoughts out, but, like, I'll be there for you.
yeah,
And then we can distance if we're, like, really that hurt.
we have some comments from Kitten Mittens 0809. I've dumped friends for a lot less, not the a-hole. T for pterosaur.
Yeah.
Says, I love how people seem to think you will regret not going and not that she should regret her crappy behavior throwing away your friendship because she's jealous of you. How's that?
Like, I think she will, though. That's the thing. But I just don't think that that's our time to call that out for her because she's not the one asking for that advice. She could regret that later on, sure. Maybe she'll come back to you with an apology. But, like, ultimately, she's not going to change it. She's not going to come to that. No one's going to give her crap for it. So it's, like, our own selves to take care of.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to want to be the hottest one at your own wedding.
I don't think that you should ever get rid of friends, though, because I think no matter what, the bride is gonna be the hottest one at the wedding.
Yeah.
The spotlight will always just be on the bride. It's crazy to be like, it would be somewhere else. Nah, girl, you gonna be that princess. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Be the prettiest girl at the party. Where's Bubbles?
I'm just sad because
I'm sorry.
this person's a victim of being hot.
Is it because you want to be the hottest person at OP's friend's wedding?
No.
We can get you out there.
I wouldn't go to a wedding where the bride appointed me maid of honor, let me pay for all the stuff related to that, and then booted me out of the bridal party for any reason, but hers is particularly pathetic. I think most of my friends are hotter than me, but I'm not a pathetic baby, so it's fine, not the a-hole. Icky Tree Branch says, ages ago I looked up to my bestie's ex-boyfriend. His profile pic was his wedding pic. Looking at his new bride, objectively she was not as pretty as my friend. She was kind of average looking, but that day she was radiant and joyful, and it elevated her so that she could have been standing next to Taylor Swift, and Mrs. Swift would have been invisible. It's pretty difficult to outshine a blissed-out bride. Too bad this false friend is too insecure to realize that. Judgment, not the a-hole. Update
Yeah.
20 days later.
I mean, I do agree with a lot of that. I just don't think there's much that you can do at that point.
Yeah, I think, if you want to talk about maybe getting some of your money back or her paying you back
Yeah.
for the stuff you paid for, because that's fair. It's
Definitely
like, I'm not
getting
even a part
money
of this
back.
anymore.
100%.
I think that's totally within the bounds of reason.
But, like, the rest of the stuff, like being back in the bridal party or, like, not showing up, I don't think that there's much that you can do about that. Like, she's not going to reinstate you as the maid of honor at this point, I don't think. Would you
Yeah.
even want to be at that point? Like, at that point, if she came back and she was like, I've actually, like, I've sat with my thoughts and I've changed my mind, I think I'd be like, I'm not sure I can.
Yeah.
Which I guess is the same thing if you're not sure that you can even go to the wedding.
All right, well, we do have an update. Firstly, some digging was done by my boyfriend and myself, and we think we found the root of the issue. A couple of months ago, my boyfriend, Sophie's brother, the groom, and Sophie were out for drinks. I remember this night I had an event for another friend and couldn't go. Over drinks, the groom apparently asked when my boyfriend was going to propose to me, and my boyfriend said, probably sometime next year. Groom then made a comment to the effect of, why would you wait that long? She's perfect. Now, according to both my boyfriend and Sophie's brother, Sophie was really mad about this because Groom waited several years to propose to her. She's been bringing it up to him regularly since. Obviously, we all assume he meant perfect for you. Not literally perfect, but Sophie appears to be taking it personally. The second thing is that my mother did a little gentle probing, and it turns out that at the bridesmaid fitting, Sophie's mom told Sophie that she should have chosen a dress that wasn't going to make me look better than her. I don't think she said it like that to Sophie. This is just how she relayed it to my mom and draw attention away from her. According to Sophie's mom, her aunt and cousin said the same thing, and I guess kind of ganged up on her about it. She also has been on Sophie about a pre-wedding diet, so it seems like these two things got blown out of proportion and ended up in Sophie's request that I not be maid of honor. I ended up deciding not to speak to Sophie about any of this. She's planning her wedding. She should enjoy this time. I don't want to make this about me or our friendship. And if I'm being totally honest, I was kind of done with the friendship after the initial conversation.
Dang.
I wanted to know the reasons for my own peace of mind, but the truth is, nothing was going to change the fact that she took her feelings out on me, who only ever wanted to support her. None of these things came from me or had anything to do with me, but she chose to take a wrecking ball to a 20-year friendship rather than confront the people who upset her.
Well, I feel like you are not confronting the people who upset you.
Exactly. I was going to say, let's look in the mirror really quick.
Right.
Because you're letting this now entirely destroy your friendship with this person, which if I was best friends with someone for 20 years and this happened, I certainly wouldn't no longer be friends with them.
Right. I would accept an apology and like us to talk about it and probably my money back.
Yeah, and especially after I hear the reasoning,
Right. I'd be like,
1,000%, I'm like, okay,
bro, let's talk.
this is understandable.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of stuff in your ear.
Right. Let
now.
me be your best friend. Let's talk about this.
Right.
Let me be your hot best friend.
No.
OP
Oh, no.
continues.
I'm too
OP
hot.
continues. I can't wrap my head around that, and I'm not going to try going forward. That being said, I decided to go to the wedding as my boyfriend's plus one, essentially, just for closure to this entire mess. Now that I've calmed down, I really don't feel any particular way about going. I'll eat, I'll drink, I'll clap, and Sophie will just be the wife of my boyfriend's friend from now on, I guess. What are you talking about, dude? You're
Like,
just
dude, at
coping.
this
You're
point-
coping in a weird way.
Do whatever you want, dude. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, you suck more than she does at this
You're
point.
now
I'm not gonna
doing
lie.
like the exact same thing that she was doing, where you're like taking one conversation way too far and too crazy and getting way too butthurt about it.
OP, you may be hot, but you're acting ugly right now.
I haven't told anyone why I'm not Maid-of-Honor. I just said in the group chat that it was for personal reasons, and everyone can speculate. And by the way, there's no speculation that there are full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform right now. Go to iHeartRadio, to Spotify, to Apple Podcasts, and search OK Storytime, and you can listen to 3 months worth of episodes of this show back to 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 back.
Of this show.
90 days times 24 hours.
Of this show.
And there's a little bit left of this story.
From this show.
OP, you stink a little bit more than your friend does, because at least your friend, it's understandable. She did what she did. We're emotional creatures.
Yeah.
And on that note, you know, it's somewhat understandable that you're having this reaction that you did. But don't go and say, like, she didn't do the thing that I'm doing right now or
Right.
whatever. Like,
You guys are doing the same thing, so I feel like at this point we can just both step back, have a good old laugh about it, and move on.
Once the wedding is over, I'll tell our mutual friends the truth, and they can do with that info what they will. Sophie has reached out since to talk, but I sent her a message telling her that I'll be at the wedding as a guest, and that I hope she enjoys this time in her life, and wishing her the best, and haven't been replying to anything else. Why? You're being a problem. You're making the problem worse. She reached out to actively probably explain herself about the problem.
Yeah, she wants to talk
And now
to
you won't even talk to her, so you're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, I think I was potentially pre-harsh to you, but now I feel like it's reasonably harsh.
It surprised me how quickly I've reached the numbness of just not caring anymore.
Like, that's crazy.
But that's where I'm at, says OP. I genuinely wish her the best, but I just have zero interest in being part of her life anymore. I just can't see her or anything about our friendship the same way anymore, so that's that.
You're all little stinky poo-poo babies that can't talk out your
All
freaking
over just, like-
emotions.
That's a really tall horse there. You got OP.
Oh, this is all just over like a symbolic title for a symbolic ceremony that is just based on nothing but tradition.
Yeah.
So it's like you're letting all of this stuff that really has nothing to do with you guys destroy you guys. I don't know. I don't really know what else to include. If anyone else has anything to ask that I've missed, feel free to ask. Thank you to everyone who commented. And that's the end of that story.
Oh my God.
I just want to see the comment.
Yeah, can we have like a comment or two from that, Keon?
Just have the conversation, you little lidocaine person.
This is crazy. We're throwing 20 years of friendship away because both of us got a little butthurt about something.
Well, no, it's because she had freaking snakes in her ear being like, she looks so much hotter than you and you're fat and ugly and need to go on a diet.
Insecurities are rough. Sometimes they hit you, sometimes you're not expecting them, and sometimes they get to you too hard. Like, it's not fair to you, but it's like reasonable to forgive.
This is an update.
One that we didn't read?
Ooh.
No, this is brand new.
Can we read it, Producer Keon, please?
We've got more update now, folks.
Update,
We've got more
update.
update.
Take your guess.
Dang it, it's
Maybe you already read
freaking
it.
gone.
Before or after the wedding update?
I'm not sure. I think it's
I'm going to guess after.
okay. Here is the update. A lot of people wanted an update post-wedding, and I didn't really think I was going to do one because it was just a wedding, right? Wrong. So, key things. Everyone in our families ended up figuring out the general reason for me not being in the wedding. I didn't tell them.
You sure?
Sophie's brother got it from her fiancé, and I guess kind of hinted to their parents. I didn't entertain any conversations about it and was traveling anyway, so I don't know what happened there. But I know third hand that there were conversations happening. Sophie stopped reaching out shortly after that happened. My boyfriend and I got engaged while traveling. Very sudden. I have a placeholder ring because it was so unplanned. We are still in the process of sorting out the real one. LOL.
What did he propose with?
I don't know, a rock?
Like a penguin?
A leaf?
I got you this pebble.
I got you this pebble. I thought it was beautiful like you, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you.
That's what penguins do. They pick the prettiest rock.
We only told our own parents and decided it would stay this way until after the wedding. I did not go all out on my outfit for the wedding. Sorry to disappoint some of you. Ha ha.
I think that would have been rude if you did.
All in all, the wedding was nice and smooth. I was sat at a table with my boyfriend and his family and two of my stepbrothers, and obviously didn't get ready with the bridesmaids, so mercifully managed to avoid any awkward questions or mentions of the situation. It's only awkward because y'all have made it so awkward.
Why didn't we just hash this out and move on?
Like I said, I've barely been home, and a wedding isn't the time to catch up with people. So it was a very normal wedding experience. Small talk, food, etc. I got from the conversations I did have that people assumed I dropped out of being Maid of Honor because I was busy this time of year, which I am, and I didn't correct anyone. Everything was fine until the speeches, during which Sophie's husband, who I'll call Nick for the purpose of this story, congratulated me and my boyfriend on our engagement.
Yeah, I was wondering when the engagement was going to come up, and I knew it was going to be something about that.
We are still racking our brains to think how the F he found out. We only told our parents. I didn't wear a ring to the wedding. All our siblings and friends were shocked.
Oh.
We were absolutely mortified. I think all the guests were as well. Sophie was clearly very upset. I won't be so self-absorbed to say it ruined the evening, but I was definitely squirming for the rest of the time we were there. We didn't make our exit immediately because that would have caused more drama, but we left earlier than intended. Our parents don't even know Nick, so they wouldn't have spilled the beans.
They probably did.
Maybe they did.
They had to. They had to. If those are the only people you told.
Nobody knew?
If those are the only people who you told, hate to break it to you.
They must have.
They must have told somebody. And they were like, we didn't tell anybody. You definitely told somebody.
Someone saw them ring shopping and called Nick up and was like, guess what I just saw?
I mean, it could have been your fiance, let's be honest.
Isn't Nick his good friend?
Right.
Someone must have said
most
something.
logical option.
Someone out of all of you must have told somebody. And everyone's playing, I didn't do it.
We didn't confront him because he was pretty tipsy by the time speeches came around, and afterwards, it just didn't seem appropriate, and now they're on their honeymoon. My boyfriend is planning to bring it up with Nick when they get back, but he's pretty angry that Nick did that, and doesn't think they'll be hanging out going forward. I sent Sophie a DM expressing how sorry I was about what happened, which she left on read, which is fair.
The only person's fault that was Sophie's husband that said, and congratulations to the new couple, the newlyweds.
Yeah, it's like, bruh, this is your wedding, dude. What are you doing?
To make things so much worse.
Our friends still don't know the full story, by the way. I'm not really free to even meet up with people between now and the new year, and I think I just want to give this all some breathing room and enjoy the holidays, so I won't be in a hurry to tell them. Obviously, they're all pleased about the engagement and shocked about what happened. None of them have spoken to Sophie, since she's away right now, and I guess avoiding everyone. So that's that. Really not the update I thought I'd be giving or one I wanted. I'm pretty shell-shocked right now, to be honest. This has all just got so much uglier than it ever needed to be. But I don't know if these two things are even related. Maybe they're not. I'm still a bit creeped out that Nick managed to find out something literally only 5 people knew, and we don't know how.
So who's the 5th? Your mom, your dad, you, and your fiance. Who's the 5th? Someone else knew. They probably spilled the beans.
I don't know what else to say. And that's the end of that story. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like if you guys would have just worked this out like, mature adults and just been like, hey, they got their hooks in your brain. It's okay. I'm here to pull the hooks out of your brain.
And fiance weird for calling that out.
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird. But that is the end of that story, and we have another one coming up.
My friend refused to support me when my beloved cat passed away.
That's not a friend.
I, 40s female, and Jonna, 40s female. I am a cat rescuer, and 8 months ago, my own cat, who was like a daughter to me, passed away. Very suddenly after multiple mixed diagnoses and treatments. It broke my heart. Jonna is also an animal lover and recently a single mom from a divorce and an empty nester. She also has 2 cats. I had 2 of my own, not including the fosters. By the way, this comes from Arwin and Aowin, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. And we're here to give good advice goofily. We don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, Jonna left me alone for weeks, sent 1 short text, and called about 2 weeks later once. I didn't see the call until later. I did text her a few times asking for support. She had apologized, then sent long texts about how hard she was working and how hard her life was and how little money she had. This was while she was posting on social media. Parties, weddings, travel, constant updates. I was in an accident 3 months ago. I didn't tell Jonna, and very few people knew. It was a bad accident, and I'm still recovering, still in pain, and still without a car or income. Jonna texts occasionally, very cheerfully, acting like everything's okay. One of Jonna's cats passed away suddenly about a month ago. I sent my condolences by text and on social media as she'd post about it there. Jonna has a friend who occasionally donates to my rescues about once a month. Jonna usually sends me the bank slip after the transfer, and I always thank her. The last time I told Jonna that I had been in an accident, she said she was sorry to hear that and didn't ask for anything more. So that's been the pattern. I've been polite but distant for 8 months, and she's been acting as if everything's okay. Today, Jonna texted again about the donation. She said she'd called and wondered why I didn't pick up. But when I checked my call log, she hadn't. I said I hadn't seen it. I texted her saying, hey, I know you want to speak. I want to as well, but you know we can't speak as we used to.
Why not?
Why not?
I'm confused. Did she already ignore that your cat passed away?
Yeah.
It didn't sound like that happened. Did we skip?
I didn't think that happened yet. She replied with long texts about how busy she's been, how hard her work is, how difficult taking care of the kids are, some in college, some working, all out of state, and how much she's traveling. I sent her... Okay, it is... after.
Okay.
I sent her a voice note saying that her lack of support when my girl passed away really made me sad. I know she's busy and all that, but it hasn't been exactly easy for me. I'm sorry her cat passed away. I'm sorry things are hard for her, but honestly, my cat passing away and my accident are about me. I don't have the capacity to support anyone else. I'm still in constant pain. She sent me multiple voice notes calling me selfish and self-centered and a disappointment to her, and a fake person if I claim to be on the spiritual path, yet filled with self-pity. I'm like so confused about this story so far.
It sounds like you guys both did the exact same thing to each other.
Yeah, it sounds like you...
no, because you did reach out.
But also just with sending her condolences, which is what Jonna did.
I think...
It's like one of those things where it's like everyone has some sort of struggle in life and everyone's struggle is going to be different and we can have the sympathy about it for everybody, but like it doesn't change that like one person can still be struggling if they're not deemed as like much of a struggle as yours kind of thing. But you also don't need to hear about it all the time. You guys can be friends without only talking about that.
More to life than your cat that is gone, which is sad, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like the time to then lose one of your best friends, right?
Guys, there is a very exciting stream happening Thursday, and I cannot wait. That's all I'm going to say.
OP continues that she would not apologize for living her life and not reaching out. It shocked me and hurt me a lot. I responded as calmly as I could that I didn't hold her responsible for what happened to me, but for her lack of support as a friend. And that what happened this year showed me who truly cared and who didn't. I wished her well, I wished her peace, every happiness, and told her this friendship was over, that there was no going back. I'm frankly quite stunned by what happened. Jonna and I were family friends. My mother liked her, loved her kids, but she's kept away this year since my girl passed away. I do wonder if I should have been more forgiving and pretended everything was okay and been friends with her like normal. Am I the a-hole? Edit. It always felt like the misery Olympics. I lost my cat, but she's having the hard life. I ask for support, but her life sucks. I have an accident, but she's working overtime to feed her kids. Even today, when she was calling me names, it was all about how her life is so hard. It often felt like I had to put aside how I felt and commiserate with her. This has happened before when I was having a rough time financially, and she told me she'd had it harder when she was first married. She just sounds miserable. She just wants to complain all the time.
I mean, it sounds like you're looking for support from a person who is like, I can barely support myself.
Yeah.
Every day I struggle to support myself and my children. So I don't really have the bandwidth to support you. And it does sound like she's miserable if she's doing my financial situation was even worse.
Yeah. Maybe she needs a therapist so it's not just dumped on her friend.
Yeah, it's really our friends are only built for so much before it's like, I don't even know what to say, my guy. Like, you got to talk to a professional.
We have an update. An update in case anyone is interested. Some background that I left out of the first post for length. I had known Jonna for 8 years. Jonna works in a pharmacy, has a great boss who gives her great bonuses, and she's been there for almost 15 years. Jonna married young the first time. I think she was 20. She had 4 daughters with her ex before they split up. She then left her girls with her ex and moved away for work. When she came back to our town a few years later, her oldest, now 25, didn't want to live with her, but the 3 younger girls did. She then married her second husband, whom she split up with last year. He took on her kids, and they adopted another daughter a few years later. So 3 out of 4 girls are now in college. In total, Jonna has 5 girls, including 1 who's no contact with her. Jonna loves posting on social media. Everything she's going through is posted there except for her split. Jonna's oldest daughter has gone no contact with her, so Jonna goes to her daughter's social media, downloads her public pictures, and shares them on her own social media, accompanied by sad posts and sad poetry. That wasn't the biggest tell about who she is, though. That's crazy.
I mean, I'd probably do the same thing if I had a kid who refused to speak to me. I don't even know what that would be like.
You'd go to her social media, take the pictures, post them on your
I would be a
socials?
miserable, emotional mess all the time, I'm sure. Sounds like you're looking for your support in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Y'all both need support.
She posts about work, TikTok dances, videos of her singing and partying and traveling, about her sadness, heartbreak. It's constant. Jonna told me at the start of last year that she's been unhappy with her marriage for a while. After she split up with him at the end of last year, she told me that her husband had been verbally harmful, but also that she didn't want to get a divorce. She said she missed out by marrying young and wanted to go out and drink and party now. She just wanted separate lives where they went out with other people and stayed married in name. He didn't want that, so she moved out. Instead of renting a house of her own, she got herself a small flat where she took 2 rooms. The landlady was also a friend she parties with and is home half the month, so she has the last room. The girls found this very hard, leaving the house they'd grown up in, the lack of privacy, and missing their dad, whom they still see regularly. They spent last Christmas with him, as Jonna wanted to work, and apparently we're planning to spend this Christmas with him too. Which brings us to the update. Like I'd mentioned, Jonna was constantly on social media, which is how I had known where she was and what she was doing. I had reached out to her for support a few times by text, but every other time her reply would be about how hard she was working, how tired she was, and how she was so broke. Then she'd post on social media about going to the movies or spending a day with a friend. And I actually did tell her about the accident. I just hadn't gone into detail about it, and she'd text an OMG back. So there was no way she didn't know that I was upset or that our friendship hadn't been the same for the last 8 months. And that's why I was so annoyed when she'd send the cheery messages as if everything was okay. I also found out that her cat passed away of kidney stones, and when I asked, she said he had been showing symptoms for a while, but she hadn't taken it seriously until the end. I was really angry about that. I don't think we need to judge her for a passing of a pet that I'm sure she's very sad about.
Nah, I'd be mad too. It was like, yeah, it was clear there was something wrong with your cat, and you just like didn't take it and didn't take it and didn't take it, and then it's like, oh, nothing I can do now.
If they were legit symptoms, I guess that one confuses me because a lot of times cats can be very just like hiding of their symptoms kind of thing.
Yeah, if it was a shock, that's one thing, but
I guess maybe that's what I'm picturing, and that was probably my own personal.
it really, really bugs me when people have problems, their pets have problems, and they're like, yeah, but I can't take him to the vet.
Yeah, then don't have a pet.
It's like, well, then I guess you gotta do something else.
If you can't afford to help the cat, you shouldn't have the cat.
Give it to someone who can take it to the vet.
In my last message to her, after her rant about how selfish and self-absorbed I was, and a disappointment and disgrace to her spiritual studies, to God, to my mom, to everyone, I pointed out how I had not once called her names. I wasn't judging how she lived her life, and I was calling her out for her lack of support as a friend. That she couldn't take back what she had said, and there was no going back on our friendship. It was over. I unfriended her on social media and deleted her number and all of her messages. But by the way, you can never delete us. We'll always be here, and you can always listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit more.
I think it's just I think there's too many feelings.
Yeah.
And I think your friend Jonna is mostly just kind of miserable. You've kind of internalized that as her being not caring about you, and maybe she doesn't because she's too busy being miserable to care about her friends properly.
Yesterday, almost 2 weeks later, she sent me a text about how God was being so good to her by taking me out of her life.
Shut up, girl.
Fake.
You let your cat die from kidney stones. You're trash.
That I am fake. I am much stupider than she realized. I talk nonsense. I don't deserve to have her as a friend after all the good things she's done for me. And added some laughing emojis.
Yeah, she had some boxed wine before she sent that, for sure.
She's just typing it, taking a sip, typing more, taking another sip, laughing a little bit.
She's just got like the... She's like,
got a hamster thing so she can just lick it.
Yeah, she's got
I'm not minding that for you. It was a vile, ugly little message, but I'm not mad at her. I feel really sorry for her. I have now blocked her. I thought you already did that. And I do feel sad. I thought we had a good friendship and that talking things out would help us both. I guess she didn't feel the same way. That's the end of that story.
Don't cry over spilt milk, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's just get John out of here. Let's find some cool people that support us and are cool.
They're out there, you know? There's plenty of people out there who are cool.
And probably also have cats and take them to the vet.
And would like you for liking cats.
That's the end of that story. And we got another one.
My friend launched a smear campaign against me, so I moved abroad.
That just sounds like you're fleeing the country from something.
This happened freshman year of college in 2018. I signed up for an early orientation program where I met a core friend group, including Bailey, not her real name. She introduced herself, explaining this was her second attempt at freshman year after getting a terrible concussion. By the way, this comes from user TonkaBear1, direct from the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only have the answers that we would do. Okay, so if you have different answers, why don't you just let us know what they are in the comments? And OP says, she carried herself with intense and chaotic energy, sometimes bringing up the vibe with her sense of humor, but often crossing boundaries. The main issues were all around her conduct. She'd yell in people's faces, grab them, invade personal space, share private information, and be extremely loud and obnoxious. We'd tell her to stop, which was often. She always felt terrible and attributed her choices to her concussion, explaining she sometimes did things she felt she had no control over. We felt terrible because she was clearly struggling. We started noticing she'd appear wherever we were, hanging out more frequently. She was always around. One evening, she pushed a guy into the street hard enough that he was nearly injured by a car. She meant it as a joke. Then came my incident. I was in my dorm taking a shower when I heard the bathroom door open. I figured it was my roommate. My dorm was a suite where my roommate and I shared a bathroom with two other girls. Before I knew it, the shower curtain was pushed open and it was Bailey with her phone out recording me.
What?
No, that's immediate, snatch and tackle behavior.
That's called a cop's behavior. You're recording me in the shower?
Yeah, what? I was in utter shock. She was laughing, thinking it was a hilarious prank, and I was reacting out of sheer panic. I told her, please delete it. Take another one that doesn't show anything. I was truly scared and didn't know what she was going to do with that video. She reluctantly said okay and took another video while I covered myself. She then left, and I finished the shower in utter shock. What? Take another one where I'm covered up? Bro, no, that's leave me alone forever. Leave me alone indefinitely. I'll let you know when you can talk to me. Yeah, and give me your phone right now. I'm deleting that.
Yeah, make sure that's
right
deleted. Now. Jeez.
Give me your phone or I'm prosecuting you. I felt so violated and embarrassed. My biggest concern was making sure the footage wouldn't get anywhere. I asked my roommate why Bailey was in our room, and she told me, oh, she said you were expecting her, which she realized immediately upon hearing me wasn't true. My roommate was appalled. I sent Bailey a message later that week. I know I was playing along in the moment, but I was uncomfortable with the whole thing, and I politely request that she delete the videos and not share them with anyone.
That's not a politely request situation.
Yeah,
That's a
no.
demand.
That's like
It's an aggressive demand.
Yeah, immediately. She agreed and apologized. I didn't share the bigger picture of my feelings or explain why I reacted the way I did. You don't really need to explain why you'd react that way when you're in the shower and your privacy is violated while you're being recorded.
Yeah.
There's no need to explain that. She walked away, interpreting my reaction as me thinking it was funny, not as a panic response. She thought because I asked for another video that it was fine with me. She didn't see any signs of a bigger issue because I didn't tell her there was one. I was afraid of the drama, but I did tell my group of friends, and they were all supportive. I took my space from her after that. A week or so later, a few girls in the group and I were studying in a hard-to-find place in the library when she showed up. We were individually studying, so when she sat down, I said hi, but kept my earbuds in. Suddenly, she grabbed the cord and pulled the earbud out of my ear abruptly. It hurt and startled me. I told her it's not okay to do that. She got defensive, but apologized, and I could tell she felt bad. It was the same impulsive behavior she'd always immediately feel remorseful for. I decided I wasn't going to be friends with her anymore. I didn't plan to tell her or confront her. I just wanted to keep my distance. After Bailey left, the girls and I started talking. That's when I learned about the pushing someone into the road situation. The same girl, Sue, told me she'd been having even worse issues with Bailey since my shower incident. The worst was that Bailey had come up behind Sue and grabbed her roughly by the neck as a joke.
As a joke?
Yeah, I mean, and we're talking about someone who has basically TBI. Like, she had an extreme concussion, and that can cause behavioral changes. It can cause problems with impulse control. It can cause all kinds of stuff.
But this is like, as someone who's had multiple very big concussions, I never wanted to like start inappropriately doing things to my friends like this.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I'm sure it can present itself in different ways, but
yeah, it's not an excuse. It's just a...
Right.
It's not like this person is just like a, you know...
There's a potential reason for why the sudden change up, but like we need to get
you don't
this
have
under
to deal
control.
with it. It's not your job to now have to deal with this person.
Yeah.
We realized all these incidents occurred at times where she ran into us. How did she know we were there? We checked our phones and saw that several of us had our location shared with her either via Snapchat or Find My, and not one of us recalled sharing our locations with her. That's crazy.
That's when I'd want to know too, was that before or after the concussion?
We would often pass our phones around to share things and figured she must have shared it with herself. People in the group who had never handed her their phone didn't have their location shared, which solidified that theory. It felt premeditated and unsafe. I had already mentally checked out of the friendship, so I wanted to unshare my location and move on, but Sue was very emotionally affected and really felt for Bailey. She didn't want to ghost her, and Bailey could easily show up at events. After a few talks, Sue was getting more upset. About a week after the earbud incident, Sue was preparing to talk with Bailey and asked me to be there for the conversation. This was my fatal mistake. I agreed. The plan was for Sue to talk about what happened with her, the street incident, and the neck-grabbing situation, and how Sue wants space, but still wants to stay friends with better boundaries. I didn't want to be friends at all, but this wasn't supposed to be about me. I intended to stay in my supportive but passive role. We were very concerned about hurting Bailey. We put a lot of thought into the location, deciding on a gazebo in the quad, private enough, but public enough to prevent a big scene. The plan was I was there for moral support, while Sue would do all the talking. Despite our care, the outcome didn't reflect that at all. Leading up to the talk, Sue was sick with a terrible sinus cough and had been carrying around rolls of toilet paper to use as tissues. Right away, we could tell Bailey was not happy to be there. Sue started sharing about the incidents, and we saw tears well up in Bailey's eyes. When the conversation became about boundaries and space, it all took a turn for the worse. Sue had been getting more worked up, which impacted her sinuses, causing her to cough and blow her nose frequently. When she saw Bailey's tears, she quickly handed her the roll of toilet paper. As Sue got more emotional, Bailey started shifting from defensive to offensive. Sue was now basically unable to speak between the emotion and the sinuses. Bailey started directing her attention and words to me. I was no longer the passive, supportive friend. I was trying to share what Sue had discussed, defending her, giving empathy to Bailey, but it was hard to speak for someone else and not bring up my own experience. Eventually, I had to be the one to say that because of everything, it made sense for there to be some space. I tried to emphasize this level of drama and intensity was just too much. At this point, Bailey was devastated and fuming. She basically said, "So you basically planned this all out so that you could humiliate me here in the center of campus, anticipating how sad I'd be? That you brought toilet paper for me when I cry, knowing that I'd have to walk of shame somewhere after basically being dumped by all my friends?" Well, that's certainly one way to look at it.
Yeah, I could also understand, though, and not to keep defending her with the whole, like, well, she's got a concussion. That is such an influx of emotions for when you have it. Like, anytime that I've had a concussion, my biggest thing is that I can't control my emotions as much. Like, things will upset me really quickly.
Really?
What?
Nothing.
What? What you gotta say back there, boyfriend?
Say it, Keon.
I love you.
To be clear, I think the meanest thing they could have done here was to just ghost you and never speak to you again, but that's a different thing.
Having a conversation, this is, like, needed to happen, and I don't agree that you guys are, like, being awful to her. I'm just saying I do think that that's why she's reacting this way.
Yeah.
And again, we can't keep, like, you can't just keep dealing with that.
She's got a concussy. She's gonna be fussy.
They're rough.
I was stunned. Everything we'd planned backfired. Not only did she hate what we said, she hated how we said it. She interpreted everything we did as extra cruel, which was the opposite of what we intended. I saw her perspective right away and instantly regretted those choices. We truly had no bad intentions, but the result was hurtful. However, an even more unanticipated outcome was that somehow I became the aggressor and villain in the story. Bailey left feeling victimized by us, but specifically me. For some reason, Bailey didn't hold a grudge against Sue or anyone else.
Probably because you didn't cry.
I guess so.
I think it's probably because it was like you were the, no, I don't want to say harshest one, but maybe most stone-faced, like,
Yeah.
angry front about it kind of thing. And I think you should be. Like, someone, like, I'm a crier. Someone's gotta not cry. Or you just gotta do it through tears sometimes.
Yeah, every group needs a non-crier.
Are you implying that's you?
No, I cry. Anyway, Bailey went on to tell everybody about this story, not just about her version of our talk and how I intentionally publicly humiliated her, but everything that led up to this between she and I. Except it wasn't reality, it was her skewed version.
Huh.
She told people about the shower incident and how I actively went out of my way to tell people that she did this horrible thing she didn't do, and then showed them the video of me asking her to take another video as her evidence.
What?
So not only did I learn she lied and clearly did not delete the videos, but also that my nightmare of the videos being shown around was coming true. Because I didn't gossip about this or tell a lot of people, really only the people in the group, no one would have reason to not believe her. She painted me as a mean-spirited conspirator that created this fake story. I tried to move on and let it go, and I felt guilty for how badly we had hurt Bailey. When it came up, I told the truth and the whole truth. I owned my mistakes and the timeline of events, but the problem arose when people stopped asking me. Throughout the next year and a half, I'd make friends that would later ghost me. I realized Bailey had been telling people this story and making me out to be a crazy liar, despite the fact that all my friends from the time of the shower incident stood by my side. In a stroke of luck or misfortune, Bailey and I were on the same summer internship program abroad, and we're also roommates. Believe it or not, Bailey and I made peace. I was even able to explain and apologize to her for the conversation. She accepted, and we were friendly, and things were fine, or so I thought. Exactly. Dude, she just was conspiring. Why would you make peace?
How long ago was this concussion?
I don't know, but
suck.
why would you make peace with the person who did this to you?
Yeah.
And then trust them?
I mean, sometimes the personality changes can, like, completely revert back, and she could just be normal Bailey again. But sometimes they don't. So I don't know that I'd be so easily trusted without, like, a giant apology.
And you could, I think...
And even then, arm's length.
prosecute her for that video that she's showing a bunch of people.
Yeah, does she still have those?
Despite this, Bailey's new best friend forever, Maya, also a fake name, who was in our apartment, had made it her personal mission to save anyone from me. And Bailey wasn't interested in stopping her. Harry, another fake name, was my close friend who joined the group in the semester after all this drama. Somewhere, Maya got to Harry and changed his mind about me, like a complete 180. Harry had even been on a pre-programmed trip with Sue. He was connected to people who corroborated my story, but it didn't matter. Maya was convincing, and Bailey showing him the videos sealed my fate. Yes, she still had them a year later. He became friends with them and stopped talking to me. I went back to school for one final semester before I'd move abroad and transfer. I thought this drama would have blown over. Sadly, that's not what happened. Maya moved on to another abroad program in Spain, which happened to be the same program as my best friend, who wasn't in this group. It took 2 weeks, and I never heard from her again. I tried to reach out many times, but Maya convinced her I was evil. My friend never asked me for my side, and I never got the chance to tell her, which means
So
she wasn't your friend.
friend.
You thought this person was your best friend, but she wasn't.
Was not.
Or doesn't even have the sense to
Right.
ask you for your side of the story, which means you're better off not having that person as a friend because they're a moron.
Friends check in about it.
No one would come to me for my side because they were convinced I was a liar. Part of why I moved away and left that school was because those 2 girls were actively coming after me. Most people didn't care, but for the ones that did, especially the close friends I lost, it was very painful. The most frustrating part was that I was fully willing to own my mistakes, but no one would give me the chance. But you have a chance right now to listen to full episodes with stories just like this on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. All you have to do is search OK Storytime, and you've got a lot of episodes to listen to. Thousands plural?
What?
Maybe we're close to plural of thousands, but that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Months.
Hundreds of episodes. But there's a little bit left to this one. Let's finish it off. People were hung up on the video and how it looked when I asked her to take another one. How are they not hung up on the fact that she just busted into your bathroom and took a video of you showering? That's insane.
Yeah. Why did she have her take another one?
Because she was just so dumbfounded. She's like, I don't know. I guess just take another one where I'm not, where I'm covered up, and then that's okay. You're a freak.
Weird.
And
Yeah.
we're in, uni. I don't know. Maybe she hasn't learned her confrontation skills yet.
Yeah.
They didn't interpret that as a plea for self-preservation or my reaction as fear. They also didn't question why they were watching a video of someone in the shower who was begging for it to be deleted. But in the moment, all I knew was someone was in my shower pointing a camera at me. Dude, I would become a feral beast.
Yeah.
I would grab that phone and be like, what is wrong with you? We're going to delete this together.
Yeah.
I would have my elbow pressed on that person immediately. I'm like, this is now my fight. You've induced fight or flight in me, and I'm fighting. I reacted out of panic, the best I could, and that's the truth. Fast forward, I successfully moved to the country from my abroad program, finished school there, and started a successful career. Got married and have 2 dogs, so all is well for me. Not really in need of advice since this was so long in the past, but definitely curious if anyone else went through something similar or sees it differently.
I think you have a unique experience there.
I know. I think that what you did was fine, and
Your friends suck.
I hope that you learned the lesson of maybe being a little more aggressive about stuff.
Yeah.
I know you were panicking. It's all right. We can get mad at people. We can demand people do things when they are so far out of line.
Yeah.
But that is the end of that story. And the end of this episode.
No, it's not.
Oh,
'Cause
right. We have comments.
Comments.
We have the big comments.
From the video, my in-laws accused me of poisoning my husband to steal my son's inheritance. Posted on December 4th, 2025. And TLDR, this is story 1. OP lost her husband suddenly, and while she was grieving and caring for their baby, her in-laws turned on her. They said she wasn't really his wife, tried to erase her from the funeral, took his things, kept his car and dog, blocked her from his phone, and even spread lies that she poisoned him. When OP proved she was his wife and her baby was his child, her mother-in-law still refused to stop and is now dragging OP through court while demanding a settlement. OP is fighting to protect her son, her home, and her husband's memory, but the drama keeps getting worse. If you're curious to know the full story, go watch the full video.
I do not recall this one.
I
It sounds like
vaguely
a
think I do.
big old hot mess. That's for sure.
Well, we have some comments here. Comment number 1 by Else Davidson 3454. So many parts of this story, I feel like she should have sued for multiple things. These people did. I mean, sounds like it. That sounds crazy. This sounds like a TV show.
Yeah, that's wild.
It certainly is not the optimal situation.
I think they did sue in this story. Like, I think there was a giant, everybody sued everybody.
I would.
Or they at least had to go like a legal route to get things back.
Well, we had another comment here by Kissable Star. As someone who has experienced immeasurable amounts of loss, I lost my entire family before I hit age 35. Wow. People do disgusting things when someone passes away. I started losing people at age 12. I lost aunts, uncles, grandparents, parents, and my only sibling all before I was even done having kids. I have multiple horror stories from each and every single one. People want to be perceived as the most hurt and the priority of the person who passed away. Or they want to be in charge and they want to take everything they can. This exact story happened to me in reverse. I was my sibling's next of kin, but the ex wanted to be in charge and even tried saying they were married, but they weren't. I now do not speak to them because of it. Kissable Star, you deserve a hug.
Yeah, that's really messed
Big
up.
hug.
We have another comment here by Rachel0420. Paying $30,000 for a funeral is the stupidest crap I've ever heard. Other than that, I feel very bad for the wife/OP, but she's a moron for letting the funeral costs get out of control. Was it $30,000 for a funeral?
I don't know what normal funeral costs are.
Yeah, I don't. Let us know.
How much does it cost to dig a hole in my backyard?
Well, I think it depends too. It's gonna be like how fancy the casket is.
And we have one final comment here by Shortness Fairy saying not only did the husband's family not pay a dime for their son's/brother's funeral, but they're taking things from the wife. Yeah, they just sound like villains.
Awful people.
Yeah.
It's sad that people sometimes use a sad moment to just become the worst people ever.
To just become little demonic people, little demon creatures.
And they actually do that exact thing. Yeah. And that's how you know.
That's how they talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's how they talk to each other. Talk to me, Stacy.
That's the end of those comments.
And that's the end of that episode. So, if you love us, make sure you subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow. Hey, don't leave. Where are you going? We have more bonus episodes for you to listen to. We think you're going to like them. So stick around. Please.
My friend's fiance doesn't want me at their wedding, but I'm still going. You can't stop me. I've known the groom, Mike, since I was 5, or in other words, for 22 years. We grew up together and have never lost contact. We've been close friends and still hang out once a week. By the way, this comes from Yosarian Lives. Or Yosarian Lives. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. So. Or we did until they started dating.
Uh-oh.
It didn't bother me that he couldn't come have an adult soda anymore because I understood how new relationships work. It started to bother me a little when he missed every World Cup match. We have never missed the matches. His fiancée, Holly, says that they're both coming. And then shortly before meetup time, Holly doesn't feel well and they don't show. Mike always makes the excuse that she doesn't like coming into the city. I live in the city and Mike used to live here with me. It's not just me that gets blown off. It's our whole group. There are 4 of us, including Mike. There's me, Chuck, and Jess. We have been together since we were children. Mike doesn't have a lot of family, so Chuck and Jess's family pretty much adopted him. Mike's always been really close with their parents because he lived with them for years. The problem is that Holly doesn't want anything to do with us. We usually do things as a group, and a few years ago, my boyfriend joined the group. The other 2 have revolving significant others, but none of them have ever had a problem with the group. We accept whoever and love to have someone who brings new ideas, restaurants, hobbies, etc. into the fold. Mike's had a rough past and a couple rough choices as far as SOs are concerned, so we were elated to meet Holly. She's decent looking, fit, has a degree, and participates in sports, but she's strange and awkward. But she was only great for the first month or so. Pretty soon, she refused to hang out with the group and had an even bigger problem if Mike wanted to hang out with us alone. She pretty much said, heck no. Mike said she wouldn't come to the city because she was having financial problems. You're probably going to be staying with people. Why can't you come to the city? Right? This is when he explained that even though she has a degree, she doesn't use it. Instead, she was a hostess in a restaurant. Holly said she doesn't use the degree because she was just too nervous. So instead, she got a second job bagging groceries. Now she has even less time to do anything because she's working 2 jobs. Our group is a little confused. We were all fairly successful and hardworking adults with 4 years, grads, or doctorates. So we have a hard time relating to our chosen jobs. Don't get me wrong, I worked in the restaurant industry for 10 years and Jess and Chuck were both baggers. but it was when they were 14. Okay, well, I don't think there's any problem with, working in a restaurant when you're, in your 20s. Anytime, actually. There's no problem with working in a restaurant or
Can make
working
good
as a
money there.
bagger. Yeah. You get a lot of tips.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to judge her on this.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, we don't say anything, but all start to wonder if she actually has a degree. I know a lot of people that have degrees that work at restaurants. I don't love this specific thing.
Like
that
how they just
he's-
jump to that?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's more reasons
Yeah.
rather than just her not using it.
If one were to ask her any questions about her degree in school, she can't answer basic questions and changes the subject ASAP. I thought maybe entering a new group was overwhelming for Holly, so I invited her out on her own a few times. Once to a bar, but she said she'll only go to a bar with her mom or aunt. Yeah, no clue why that is. Next, Opie invited her to a park near a place in the country. She said she had a headache. Lastly, to a breakfast place on a weekend. She just didn't respond whatsoever. This was over 6 months or so. She still lives with her mom and only seems to hang out with her mom. I don't think she's ever had any friends. She doesn't seem to know anyone besides her family. Maybe that's why she doesn't like us? I don't know. So it came down to the wedding. Mike told me the time. He said he would need some help with prep that day. I was excited for him and kept my apprehensions to myself. Next came the invitations, and I wasn't invited to the ceremony, but I was invited to the reception. Not only was I not invited to the ceremony, neither was Chuck, Jess, or their parents, who took care of Mike like he was their own. I let it sit for a few days until I saw Mike and Holly. First time any of us have seen her in over 7 months. Everyone wants to know, but no one wants to ask why we aren't invited. So I asked Holly anyway. She said, "No offense, but it's only for people we're actually close to. Don't worry, the people who I work with at the restaurant and don't really like are only coming to the reception and not the ceremony too." Whoa!
I feel like you could have just said the second part of that sentence.
You didn't have to say "and don't really like." Whoa!
You could, wait, say that again because that was crazy.
Yeah, she said, "No offense, but it's only for people we're actually close to. Don't worry, the people who I work with at the restaurant and don't really like are only coming to the reception and not the ceremony too."
Why would people you don't really like come to the reception at all?
But now she's implying that they don't really like OP and his friends.
Yeah,
You didn't have to say that, even if you didn't like them.
right. You could have said that so differently. Keeping it small, we're doing people that are really, really close. Not just the people that we just don't like. We're inviting people that we don't like to our wedding,
You didn't
but they're
have to
not invited
yeah.
to the ceremony. Weird.
Crazy. I thanked her for her honesty and asked who would be at the ceremony. She went on to list all of her relatives, second cousins she had met only once or twice, and convicted substance dealers that she hates, but their family, so they're coming.
Oh, okay. Well,
When Mike hears this list, his face goes slack, and he seems confused about why me and my group aren't invited and who these other people are. Ollie tells him not to worry about it, and then ignores him. Mike pulls me aside and asks me to please come to his ceremony. I said it was all right that I didn't because I wasn't family. He got upset and hugged me and said to never say that because I was his family and always would be. He then told the whole group and their parents to come to the ceremony, but to not tell Holly that we were going to it because it would upset her. My boyfriend thinks she may be jealous. Jess and I are both fairly attractive and successful. I have an excellent career and an advanced degree and have worked hard to have a beautiful and spacious home of my own. I understand that she still lives at home and may or may not have a 2-year degree. I just bought a new car and I'm not sure if she has one that works properly. Okay, OP is being very judgmental. I do kind of wonder
yeah.
if this is a little bit like of a Mean Girls face-off kind of thing. Like where OP's always been like, what do you even do? Oh, you work at a restaurant?
Yeah.
And then
do you even
Holly's-
use your degree?
yeah,
Do you
and then
even have
Holly's
a
trying
degree?
to like fire back and being like, yeah, don't worry, it's only people we like. Like I wonder if it's kind of a Mean Girl off. It
I could
totally
see
could
that.
be wrong, and it could just be Holly being
Sure.
the person that sucks. But,
Yeah.
that's my theory.
So the groom is saying that OP is always family? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I know. I try not to talk about any of these things around her. Not my career, travels, achievements, etc. But my friends ask specific questions and these things come out around her. As soon as they do, she just plays on her phone and ignores us, but especially me. The same thing happens if Jess mentions any of her achievements or things that kick butt about her. Holly doesn't mind at all if Chuck talks about his accomplishments. We have an annual apple picking tour of the ice cream factory and murder mystery dinner coming up. These are annual fall activities that we have done for over a decade.
Oh.
She's refusing to go and doesn't want Mike to either. Not cool. She says she's too busy and wants to relax in her free time. My question, finally, if we can't even get her to go on these fall activities, how are we supposed to show up at her wedding ceremony only partially invited? Yeah, I mean, Mike needs to talk to Holly.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, this is totally inappropriate. If Mike wants his friends to be there,
Yeah.
then his partner should not be saying they can't come.
Yeah.
And also, he needs to feel like he's able to freaking talk to his partner about it.
Exactly.
I don't want to upset her on her big day, but I don't want to let down one of my best friends by not being there on his wedding day. I tried to talk to her. She pretended she couldn't hear me and then asked for my boyfriend's number, which I happily provided, but don't know what she wanted it for. She wouldn't say anything else. And there is an update, folks, but what do you think?
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Seems to be no proper reason. Like,
No.
unless she did hear about, like, their judgments about her degree and her job
Yeah.
or whatever, like, I can understand why she's bitter, but it's still not the best way to go about this.
No. I mean, it just seems like Mike and Holly do not know how to communicate at all.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
they're lying
not-
to each other, which is not helpful when you're about to get married.
Yeah, this is not a good way to start out a marriage at all.
No. But there is an update. I failed to mention myself and my group have talked to Mike. I have been blunt and told him that I think he is being emotionally mistreated and manipulated. I have even sent him posts from the sub that are scarily similar. Mike honestly and truly believes that all of his and Holly's issues are only caused by the mother. Mike usually has a no BS policy, so I cannot say why he has accepted her multiple lies. Mike generally wants to be the savior in a relationship. Lastly, I ignored the obvious until someone messaged me. Holly's issue with Jess must be because she isn't currently attached. Holly was much nicer to her when Jess had a relationship for a few months. Holly is very jealous of any woman talking to or touching Mike, as in Holly won't go to his work functions because she would have to see women talking to him. Yikes!
Dang, what?
It's been over a year, but a post today reminded me of my and my friend's situation. So it has been interesting. We all went to the wedding.
Oh, okay.
Holly, however, hated our presence with a burning passion. I mean, I still don't understand. Katie says, wait, is OP male or female? OP is female. There are
just
2
doesn't-
girls in this
Ugh.
friend group and then a couple other boys.
She just doesn't like that they're
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah, truly,
She's
that's
just
it.
insecure.
Yeah, she's like, I want Mike all to myself. And so she's been isolating Mike from all of his friends,
Yeah.
even though OP has known him since she was 5 years old.
Yeah. That's just so silly,
Yeah.
Billy. Of
Very
anyone
silly.
in a relationship that's like, no, you can't
You can't
talk
talk
to
to
the
women.
gender that you're attracted to.
You don't trust each other.
Yeah,
Just- it's
yeah,
not
exactly.
gonna work.
So you shouldn't be getting married right
Yeah.
now.
She complained loudly when Mike stopped at our table to thank us for coming, that we weren't her invites, and that she didn't want him to waste his time talking to us because he had to go meet the tables of people that she had invited
Oh my
that he had
God.
never met before. Was he allowed to invite anyone?
I mean, I guess he was, but there are to be shunned.
Mike's sister was punted out of the wedding because Holly had her sister-in-law pick out Mike's sister's dress, and sister-in-law sat for the fitting. Holly said it was too late to get the dress altered for Mike's sister, and she was out.
Oh my God.
Mike's sister is about 5 inches shorter and 4 to 5 sizes smaller than Holly's sister-in-law, so there's that. After the wedding, Holly pretty much cut off contact with the group and insisted that Mike was far too busy with her and her family, who, yes, they are living with, to spend time with us. All in all, he missed graduations, birthdays, and the terrible loss of someone close to us. Mike wasn't allowed to text or call us because we could text her instead. Mike and Holly, however, did come to dinner around mine for all the major holidays where we made it clear that we were concerned and literally thinking about kidnapping him. Slowly, Mike started secretly contacting the group. Yes, secretly. Dude, get out of there. Divorce your wife. She sucks.
Yeah,
She's isolating you from all your friends.
absolutely.
He would say he was going to work, take a half day, and meet me to chat. I told him I wasn't okay with lying to his wife about just grabbing lunch and asked him what was going on. Long story short, Mike has gotten into a lot of trouble for being friends with us.
Ugh.
For example, I drew Holly's name in the small gift exchange that we have. I knew she hated coffee but loved tea. Additionally, I knew she was getting me a nice takeaway mug for coffee because she had my name. I went and got her a nice mug that I thought she would enjoy, a few samples of fun teas, a diffuser shaped like a manatee. I thought it was a cute thing, and a few little things. I hand decorated the box and was excited, thinking she was going to really like it. She didn't. She hated it. Holly wouldn't talk again until Mike took her home. Once they were home, she told her mom what Mike's friend had got her for the exchange. Holly and her mom spent 3 no-joke hours yelling at Mike and berating him for not talking to me about the gift that I would buy Holly.
What?
Wow.
Like,
Yeah,
this
she
is
sucks. She
such a
sucks.
good opportunity for her to be friends with OP.
Literally, I don't understand.
It's so easy.
so easy. And she's just making this all terrible
Yeah.
for everyone. And then her husband's going to leave her.
Yeah.
According to them, I guess Holly and Mother, Mike should have made it clear that Holly only wanted Disney gift cards for presents.
Oh my gosh.
It showed that he didn't think about her because of the gift I bought her. Mike grabbed the mug, said Holly didn't get presents from his friends if she was going to say such rude things about me and not appreciate the thought. I don't know the rude things, if you're wondering. Holly's mom grabbed the mug from him and smashed it at his feet and told him she was teaching him a lesson about defending another woman. Leave.
Yeah.
Leave. Mike,
That is so
get out of
insane.
there. This is totally inappropriate.
Oh my gosh.
Come New Year's, Holly actually invited me out. Don't go. I made the mistake of thinking she meant the group and told the gang. That was on me. Holly, like always, adores my boyfriend though and didn't mind that, but she hates Jess with a passion. Long story short, Mike sat next to Jess for a few minutes to talk instead of by me or my boyfriend. So Holly hid in the bathroom and would only talk to Mike over Facebook Messenger so that her mom could discuss the issue with them. Why is her mommy talking to him so much?
I don't know.
It's like, my mommy says that you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And know exactly what was said before you scroll up to check the ages. We are all around 30, give or take a few years. There are a lot more things, but you get the point. Lately, things have slightly improved. Holly is maybe treating me like a friend. She started to text me, but it always concludes with her asking me questions about Mike. I always apologize and tell her that I'm not comfortable asking questions that I think she should direct towards Mike. I really don't know what else to say. Mike and I have been close for 20 years. Unless he cheats on her or he has my loyalty. It upsets her that I won't share. Mike has made it clear that he is too old to have fights that Holly's mother mediates. It's not mediation. Mike and Holly both say she screams at Mike constantly. Mike told Holly that they are moving out of her parents' house or he is moving out alone. I'm proud of him because that must have been rough, but why the heck he put himself in this, I don't know. Yeah, Duchess Cassandra says Holly's one of those girls that has no girlfriends. Yeah, she's jealous of all of them.
Which is so like hypocritical though
sad.
too, because
Yeah.
if she is so mad at Mike for like having friends that are girls, yet she is becoming friends with these girls' boyfriends, like what's the double standard here?
Strange. So last major point, Holly has been coming around more, which is an improvement. Well, our annual fall apple picking day came round and it was great fun. But Holly made a comment that I cannot stop thinking about. Turns out Holly was in the Special Olympics when she was younger because her and everyone in her special classes got to participate if they wanted. I know, last thread, someone asked about the Arrested Development show with Rita. Well, I'm an a-hole and thinking about her comment and that makes me laugh probably too much. I am now slightly wondering if she is neurodivergent.
I'm wondering that as well.
I'm
She's in
slightly
the
wondering
Special
that.
Olympics?
Yeah.
Unless it was a
Unless-
physical thing?
Well, that would be
but-
Paralympics.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, I think, right? Just wondering now.
Interesting. That definitely does
Changes the
add something to it. Obviously, you still don't have to put up with this stuff,
No.
but there's different way that you could go about it.
Sure.
That really is the only thing that it changes, honestly.
All right, guys. Mike may be getting his head on straight and knows that he's in a bad relationship. It's controlling, aggressive, and largely domineered by Holly's mother. I think he knows he has to at least move out. Well, I am wondering now, really quick, if Holly is neurodivergent, maybe she has a little bit more, like, needs a little bit more help, and that's why she's living with her mom, and her
That's what
mom
I
is
was
kind of
thinking.
super overprotective.
Yeah, like maybe the reason that Holly's mom like has so much say in this right now is because of that.
Yeah.
OP, that's a big thing that you're leaving out.
Yeah.
Really big thing.
And Nina Nelson says neurodivergence doesn't give you a pass to abuse, though. No, of course
Totally.
not. And
Totally.
the mom is just as bad. And
Yeah.
sure, it can be hereditary, but still not okay. Definitely not at all. I'm just saying it is a relevant thing.
Yeah, it's still like something that you have to consider
Yeah.
when you are reacting to it.
Yeah.
So it does make our job a little difficult.
Yeah. My question is he insane for thinking that Holly will be okay once they move out on their own? Holly hasn't ever lived on her own and doesn't want to move far from her parents, but Mike does because he misses the city where we all live and he works. I think he needs to run for the hills. I mean, I don't hate the woman. She's okay, but I pay for his divorce if he said the word. I'm worried because Holly keeps sending me pictures of baby-related things, and I'm sure as heck not pregnant, and neither is Jess. She won't comment on why she's sending them, though. The Special Olympics thing, can someone enlighten me about that? I saw that you are required to have a mental or physical handicap of some sort to participate on the website. Could this crazy behavior just be from whatever made her eligible for participation?
Oh, wow. So OP doesn't even know.
OP does not know.
Wow.
But you can participate in more full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Mm-hmm.
There is a little bit left to this story.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense that OP is leaving it out because she doesn't even
she's
get
like,
it.
I don't know. I think it is relevant information, and I would love to learn. But I also do think that this is not a relationship that's super healthy.
Yeah.
Certainly not while she's living with her mom.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit left to this story. A few things from last thread. Yes, Holly attended university. She lived at home and lied about living at school, and she never passed her final certification to finish. Holly says that everyone pushes her to do it, so she won't, because she doesn't like being pushed towards doing something. The couple lies she told were why she was so secretive about it all. Disney trip had to be postponed because Mike got an awesome new job that was a huge step up. Yay, Mike! But Holly almost left him for postponing their trip. Too bad that fell through, right? I know it doesn't sound like it, but beyond Holly being sort of odd sometimes, selfish and unfriendly, she can be civil and kind of decent, at least the last month or two. And Mike was incredibly shocked about the Special Olympics comment. He kept questioning her about it in disbelief. It was awkward, but hey, she did all the track events, so that's cool. And folks, that's the end of that story.
All right.
Good luck to Mike.
Yeah.
Duchess Cassandra says, yeah, Mike is insane that he thinks a move will change her. She needs professional help for that, and sometimes even that does not work. But that's the end of that story. I want to evict my brother because he disrespected our home.
Disrespect our home, you get kicked out.
Nearly a year ago, 3 things happened. Number 1, me, 22 male, and my boyfriend, 23 male, started renting my stepdad's old house. 2, my mom and stepdad's house burnt down. Oof. And they were struggling to find a house big enough to accommodate the family. 3, they asked if my younger adult brother, 21 male, could move in with us since we had extra room. By the way, this comes from C-word bringer. Oh, okay. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. My mother had floated the idea of my brother moving in with me for a while before this as well. It caused issues between her and my stepfather as he felt my mom babied him and let him get away with doing nothing. The only reason my brother has a job is because my mom asked one of her friends to hire him. This was a big point of contention in the relationship, and my mother has said if my brother didn't move out when he did, then they probably would be headed for divorce. I want to clarify, he has not high support needs or anything like that. In fact, my mother used to hold the fact that he had a higher IQ than me over my head. But he doesn't act like it. I feel like his Asperger's diagnosis made my mom keep him from any responsibility. So while he is quiet and we don't see him often, he works overnights, we still end up dealing with his mess. This includes, but is not limited to, washing all of his coffee cups because he never does any dishes, having to force him to clean his room because the floor is hidden by fast food bags and boxes. Ooh. He drinks all our adult soda or booze without asking. He never takes out the trash, never sweeps or mops, never helps with outside work. This all sort of came to a head last night/this morning. My boyfriend and I went out of town for a week and deep cleaned the house before we left. We asked my brother to watch/feed/water the cats and make sure the house stayed clean. When we got home, the house stank like body odor and cat pee. In the bathroom, all of our towels were in a pile by the door. Ew, and there were brown stains everywhere. Since we were tired, we just assumed the stains were from one of our cats, cleaned it, and then moved on. After that, I went to the kitchen and made spaghetti. It's worth noting that there is a sizable part of our kitchen ceiling missing, which leads to some pipes plus a small maintenance door next to our toilet in the upstairs bathroom. The next day, yesterday, after trying to pick up the towels, my boyfriend mentions he thinks that my brother overflowed the toilet while we were gone. We had also been having some mild food poisoning all day. And where the bathroom and the kitchen are connected, I just got the worst feeling. I asked my brother if he had overflowed the toilet while we were gone. He said yes, he had. I didn't really know what else to say, so I asked him to clean up thoroughly. I feel like I genuinely don't know what to say to him. How does a grown man not know how to clean up his own mess? He left it all over our effing bathroom. And because my boyfriend didn't know the towels were used to soak up toilet water, he used one to dry his athlete's foot that night. I personally wouldn't have used a towel that had been on the floor for this, but I digress. That brings us to this morning. My boyfriend is at the clinic because this morning his foot was super inflamed and super painful. So this would mark 2 ways that we've been affected physically by my younger brother not cleaning up after himself. I am at a total loss for what to do because he is my younger brother and I love him, but I'm tired of playing caretaker for this man who is fully capable of taking care of himself. Growing up, I was very parentified by our parents when it came to him and the rest of our siblings. Moving out was supposed to be an escape from that. He's fully capable of cleaning up his own mess instead of leaving messes for us to come home to. I feel if he is intelligent enough to brew his own mead and play intricate card games, he is intelligent enough to clean up after himself. Would I be the a-hole if I punted out my adult brother with autism? Edit, my reasoning for thinking I might be the a-hole is because my mom is always like, well, he's autistic, so you just have to tell him. He doesn't think about things the way we do. But I feel like I shouldn't have to tell a grown man to clean up his piss and crap. We were also homeschooled, so he has no social life, and I don't even know where he would go if we punted him out. No one else in my family wants to take him in, funnily enough. Folks, there is an update. I have so many thoughts and suggestions, but do you have any?
I want to know yours, actually.
Okay, first off,
Yeah.
we already, OP and her husband, our boyfriend, boyfriend, OP and her boyfriend, partner, I'll say partner. OP and her partner already knew that he was very bad at taking care of Kat, of taking care of himself before they left.
Yes.
Do not leave someone who is
Great.
not capable or responsible to take care of your pet. That's just irresponsible pet owner.
I was afraid we weren't on the same page, but we
No.
totally are.
Do not leave someone who cannot take care of your pet in charge of your pet. That is just, and expect something else to happen.
Yeah.
That's not a good idea. Second, you already know that your brother has, different, is autistic. We already know that. So don't assume that your brother can just take care of himself when clearly he cannot.
And that's it. And you saw this from living with him before. So that's what I was so confused about. Why at any point has there not been if he needs instructions to be told to clean, why was there not something implemented to tell him to clean? Why was he not why aren't you texting him hey, by the way, clean up today? Or
yes,
there should be tiny things that you guys have figured out to adapt to the fact that he needs a little help with this.
Special needs. Literally. He has needs. You know this. And OP's well, he can take care of himself. You literally cannot. You have blanket proof that he cannot. There is an update, folks. I also want to clarify that my mom, stepdad, and brother are not bad people. I know my anger did not paint them in the best light, but I promise they are not manipulative, evil people. They may be a bit maladjusted, but so am I, lol. Anyways, on to the update. I was originally supposed to see my mom the day after I made the post in order to install some hair extensions for her. I planned on discussing the situation with her and making a plan. I had called her on my break at work that day, and she was seemingly supportive of my choice to ask my brother to move out. She said she understood why it crossed a line, although it made her sad. Well, that night, my boyfriend's infection in his foot crawled up his ankle. We spent a long time in the ER that night to make sure nothing was wrong and that the antibiotics were working properly. And thankfully, he is making a great recovery right now. But because we were at the ER until the early morning, I ended up canceling on my mom. I told her I wanted to regroup whenever my brother was off work. That way we could all sit down and have a conversation. Our schedules are opposite, where he works nights and I work all day. So usually I only see him for a few minutes, if at all, when I get home from work. I discussed my concerns with my mom over text, and she made it clear she would support us in our decision. Here are some of my texts. Me, He's made it clear in multiple ways he has different standards of living than what I want in my household, and that's fine, but I don't want it under my roof. I can handle messy, but I cannot handle dirty. Obviously, I still want him in my life, and I love him, but I think he needs to self-sustain and learn that mess doesn't just disappear if ignored. My mom says I understand that. Me, leaving items covered in toilet bacteria everywhere is unacceptable for us to come home to after vacation and in general. It felt really disrespectful considering how hard we worked to make the house clean before we left. It just crossed a boundary for me, especially when it gave us food poisoning and gave boyfriend a skin infection. It could have also gotten our cat sick.
But y'all also left pee-pee poo-poo towels everywhere.
Yikes.
Didn't connect the two, and then continued to eat and drink in that house after it tasting funny.
Yikes. My mom, be prepared for him to have some big feelings about this. He loves living with you guys. Me, I know, and I'm trying to prepare myself for that. I love him, and this doesn't mean I want him out of my life or anything like that. But boyfriend could have gotten very sick because of his negligence. He made our house smell rotten. He doesn't pull his weight, and he doesn't respect the space. Needs time in the real world where someone isn't cleaning up after him. I'm not willing to let messes sit around in my home so he can come back to them and maybe clean them. I'm not interested in having to coach a grown man into picking up after himself. So that brings us to last night when we had the talk. I texted my brother and told him how we needed to have a talk about some things and that our mom and stepdad were going to come over. I was incredibly anxious all day because I'd mostly just been avoiding him all week because I didn't know what even to say. My stepdad, at my request, kept a back seat in the convo. Basically, it started with me asking a few questions. Question 1. When did the toilet overflow? Answer. Sunday night when we left for the beach. Question. Did he intend to leave the mess for us to clean? Answer. Not really. Question. If we hadn't cleaned the mess, how long would he have left them there? Answer. I don't know. After that, the words just kind of flew out of me. I told him how disrespected I felt, how it is not our job to coach him into taking care of the home he shares, how frustrating it was to come home to that, how dangerous it was that my boyfriend could have ended up really sick. My boyfriend and my mother also chimed in with talking points along the same vein. Then I asked my brother another question. Do you have any goals at all for your life? My brother is not a particularly emotive person, mainly because of his autism, so I didn't really expect an explosive response, but I also didn't expect him to start crying either. He started saying things like he feels like he's not really living and just going through the motions of life. He struggles a lot with feeling listless and anxious, so he just shuts down. I think it really resonated with him that his actions or lack thereof were hurting the people he cares about. He doesn't feel like a real person. It broke my heart, man. It kind of clicked that this is all indicative of a bigger issue and he needs some help to do better. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
That was obvious the whole time. Like, he needs help.
I'm glad she finally figured that out, but geez, to say that to your brother.
Yeah, like, do you have any goals?
Do you have any goals in life? Are you kidding?
Wow. Some of my anger towards him was definitely misplaced. My parents genuinely failed him. He will be moving out. We have a deadline for him, but he is on board completely with getting his own place somewhere within walking distance so we can still spend time together and in case anything happens. He says he's going to contribute more to the household and get himself a place where he feels more fulfilled and responsible. He also apologized to my boyfriend about his foot. We wanted to wait until we got the culture results back before pointing fingers. So while my brother knew my boyfriend was sick, he didn't know why, but it was definitely the towels.
But again, you cleaned your foot with
a
pee-pee
dirty
poo-poo towel.
It had to have smelled.
They said it smelled.
It
They
had to
admitted
have.
it smelled and had brown on it, and their
you're
toilet was
crazy.
backed up.
My boyfriend loves my brother and forgave him. All is well again. But it's always gonna be well again if you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But folks, there's a little bit left to this story.
Do we keep messing up? Are all of them men?
Yeah,
OP is a man.
OP, yeah,
OP's
that's
a
what I said
man.
earlier.
Fiancé's a
OP's
man. Okay, cool.
Fiancé is a man.
I missed that part. I'm on board.
Someone earlier
The
said, I think,
boyfriend.
OP's underestimating how much care the brother needs, and I think it's both. The parents failed him and probably didn't,
Yes.
because I think there are a lot of times that parents with neurodivergent children will overly coddle them, and
Yeah.
not because they're like, oh, they can't do anything, and then in doing so, not actually help them, prepare them for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, they have different capabilities, but that doesn't mean that they're not,
Yeah.
able to learn. And so I think it's a combination of the parents simply not helping him.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because to me, it sounds
Yeah.
like something where it's like, if he's told to clean, he
can do it,
cleans.
yeah.
So I don't like having like a list on his wall that he'd
Yeah.
be like, have I cleaned this today? Like,
Exactly.
check it
I
off
think
kind of
it's just
thing.
working out what the accommodations,
Yeah.
what accommodations are needed.
And but I think there is a way that like he'll be fine living on his own. And I think
Yeah.
that the walking distance thing is great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They can
I
still
think
hang
it's
out.
just- yeah. And also you can always, I have a family friend who is neurodivergent, and another family friend who is not related to him but like knows that family. She has kind of lived with him for as long as I've known them. And so it's like, he's able to mostly like he's fine, on his own, but it's someone to like look after.
Yeah.
So
It could be
maybe
good that
there's, like, a
she's walking.
caretaker,
Yeah.
or,
Have
you
someone come in a couple
yeah.
times a week and just be like, hey, like this looks great. Or like,
Yeah.
hey, we got to clean this up a little bit.
Exactly. It's someone who like is keeping him on track.
Yeah.
Because it's, especially if this is his first time living alone, you do need that kind
Yeah.
of.
It's gonna be a
Yeah.
adjustment for anybody to live alone the first time.
Yeah. And there is a little bit left to this story. So let's get into it. Ultimately, it went way better than I had expectations for. No one was overly aggressive or cruel, and the message was put kindly but firmly. We should be touring some apartments with him in the coming weeks and getting his life on track. I recommended to him that he should work on getting his GED as well, as I think that accomplishment would make him feel good and boost his self-esteem. Again, thank you to everyone who commented on the original post. And sorry this update is so messy. Haha. I'm much better at structuring my words when I'm worked up. And that is the end of that story, folks.